Paso a Paso podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Paso podcast. My name is Miles and always happy to be back here with you. Today we have a wonderful guest and someone that is a parent in town and new to the area. And because we're both parents, you might both have some interruptions from children in the background, but it's only right on this podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, Miles. Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan of the podcast. My name is Diggy, and I'm a mom. And I am also a photographer, and I live here in Taos.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. And
Sure.
like some of our other guests, I met you through the website. So thanks for reaching out to us at pasotaos.org.
Yeah.
And I think today we're just going to go down the line or the story of you and Taos and parenting and anything that comes up. What I do know, I think, so far is that you've been in Taos for a little time now, but you're still kind of getting settled. So what would you like to share about that process?
Yeah, sure. So my family and I moved to Taos about mid 2019. We were kind of sick of city living and wanted to be closer to family and nature. And I was pregnant when we moved, so it was kind of a little bit of a impending due date, I guess. So we were trying to sort of get all of our ducks in a row before the baby came. So we were like, okay, is it easier to move before or easier to move after? And we just thought we'd rip the Band-Aid off, get it going. We moved when I was 36 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
My daughter was born in Santa Fe, and then we ended up moving to Taos about 3 months after that. So
Wow.
We're happy that we landed here, and we absolutely love it. I have both my parents live here and my sister and brother-in-law, so we have a huge support network, which, you know, as anybody knows, raising kids is kind of the first thing that you sort of reach and look for.
Yeah.
So having them here is awesome. And, you know, kind of going back to deciding when and how we were going to orchestrate our move, you know, we did it right before COVID happened. So, you know, we had sort of settled into Taos in August, and then, you know, COVID happened 5 or 6 months after that. So sort of divine timing with everything. I think, you know, COVID would have obviously relocated us to begin with. So it was nice to sort of get a head start on that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's awesome to hear that you do have family in the area. That is of great benefit to any parent out there, as they know. And just out of curiosity, had your extended family been out here for a while as well?
Yes. So they had been out here for about 6 years.
Yeah.
So we had been coming out here for vacation and holidays, and any time that my husband and I could get off, we were definitely out here.
Yeah.
So it had sort of been on our list of places we were interested in living, but, you know, it's a lot to sort of, both my husband and I, we moved from Brooklyn, so we had been living there I was there for about 15 years, and my husband was there for almost 20 years. So It's a lot of stuff you got to do, and
yeah,
you know, things to wrap up, if you will. So it was definitely an undertaking for sure.
Yeah, and the distance, that's pretty far away.
Yeah, definitely.
I can relate a little bit. I was born in New York and grew up in New Jersey, but I haven't lived there since the 90s. So I think we talked on the email as well about our connections to Lawrence, Kansas, and that's where I was in between. So I kind of had a slow transition, I guess, to the Southwest and how different it is. But yeah, welcome. I'm glad you're here, and thanks again for reaching out.
Thank you.
What was it like, you know, because it's rare that we have people on that lived in other cities that far away. Is there any insight you could share into what it was like parenting, living in New York City?
Yeah, so we were never officially parenting in New York. We were sort of getting the ball rolling. You know, both my husband and I were working full-time jobs. So obviously when, you know, you're pregnant, most people get into some sort of early childhood, either daycare or nanny share, you know, even before they get pregnant. It's like a very difficult market to navigate. So we were kind of deciding what we wanted to do. We kind of put it on the back burner because we weren't sure what was going to happen.
Sure.
So we were kind of looking and exploring options, but it is extremely costly. So you have to sort of definitely plan financially for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, it sounds as though I'm starting to only begin to imagine what it is to have to set up all that infrastructure when you're a parent in a large city like New York, and there's a good amount of money around, so that probably adds to the competition for available services. And whereas here, I imagine it's similar and also maybe different in that I wonder if the challenge out here is that because there's a wider, I wouldn't say it's a wider variety of people with different means and income, but it's definitely a smaller pool of people, and so that might limit resources. And something that you reached out about through the website was kind of looking for situations or opportunities for childcare that may not be, perhaps what is easy to find out here.
Right.
And what would you like to share about how do you go about making the types of decisions about what you'd like for your children now that you're in this area, if you don't mind sharing any part of that?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I think every parent is in the same boat, meaning that they want the absolute best and want to give the world to their children. Yeah. So I think it's now definitely a difficult time. I think we're sort of, COVID is still around and impacting our lives on a day-to-day basis. So, my daughter's 2 and we're expecting, and we have another one on the way. So as she's sort of getting older, you want to think about things like socialization and interaction and learning and, all those things that you obviously didn't really think about with a newborn, you're sort of like in the survival stage. Yeah. So there's so many awesome programs that exist in town, whether it's Inspire, which is where my daughter goes, or, UNM, or an in-home situation or a shared situation. There's tons of options. But I think a lot of people that are in the sort of daycare or early childhood or school situation were impacted with COVID cases almost, monthly. So that means that the school is going to be closed for upwards of 2 weeks every month. So that definitely impacts your schedule. And if you are a working parent, like both my husband and I are, and I run my own business, it's really difficult to plan for my clients and give them the support that they need and give my business the care that it needs, and also make sure that she's taken care of. So we're just kind of starting to think like, okay, well, now that we have another one coming, what do the next 12 to 18 months look like before, officially preschool starts and kind of all that sort of stuff. So, definitely an opportunity to get creative and kind of see what happens. But yeah, it's an interesting time because it's still, while schools are still open, there's still a closure at a very high rate.
That's a great point, because I understand that. I've heard that. And certainly it's probably difficult for everybody involved. And it's something that still, despite all of our efforts to discuss these things in the media, is not talked about very often, right? I mean, much love to our radio stations and KNC who airs this program and our newspaper, but I don't see a whole lot of coverage still beyond what I can do on this topic. It's largely through the lens of business. It's hard to hire, or what's the government doing. But also, I think as I think about it more, I think from personal experience, it's difficult to get people to want to share maybe the frustrating points of their life, especially right now when there's so many of them, So I really appreciate you being willing to share your story. And at the same time, you're not alone in this, right? All the people
totally. That also, there's a lot of, and, obviously I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy or anything, because it's difficult when it's a, quote unquote vulnerable population when the little ones can't get vaccinated. So you obviously want to take every precaution that you can, and they're doing everything that they can to just even keep schools open, which, I know every parent is really grateful for. Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword for sure.
It's a hard balance. And at the same time, that brings us kind of to another thing, which is what are the options out there? As you mentioned on the Paso Taos website, due to the fact that Paso is a network of people who provide services, and there's many people that are involved in that, and some people who do provide services that aren't, we do showcase a lot of opportunities that are what I might call the traditional early childhood education center, or child care as it's formerly known and such. There are people out there who are providing home care in their home or in others' homes for young children. And to your inquiry through the website, and for those listening now, we have made through PASO a lot of efforts to connect with people who are providing those services in the community. And actually, if anybody were to go to pasotaos.org today, chances are on that homepage as of October 2021, there's a large image on there, a flyer that has a very unique opportunity. And I'm just kind of on my milk crate, if you will. So thanks for bearing with me, Diggy, here. But we're partnering with the state, and the state is working on similar initiatives. At this point, the stipend for participating is $200. So if you or someone listening out there in the Taos region does do in-home care or seeks to, whether you're registered or not or any of those things, it doesn't matter. They simply would love to hear from you, hear your feedback. If you know someone who provides that service, we're not, no one's going to get in trouble for answering the questions. It's almost the exact opposite. It is the exact opposite. They're going to earn a $200 stipend. But this is a statewide initiative, is my point. And it almost, hopefully this will be successful in that way. But this is such a time that even a few, years ago at this point, through the beginning of COVID, even the people who operate very much above board, publicly known early child care centers recognize the importance of those who do it in any capacity, including those in their homes. So both for parents like Diggy here and others, we really do want to help improve and grow our understanding of what you out there in the community taking care of other people's children are going through. So please check out pasotaos.org for that. And Diggy, hopefully through that, we'll have some more resources to support you and other families in the short term. Yeah,
it sounds awesome. It sounds like a great program and sounds much needed now.
We're trying. Also, just some positives, things we're looking forward to. I'm sure that as you may have enjoyed it in the past, but we're eagerly anticipating and awaiting the opening of Twirl's Playground, which is on the back side of the plaza, which would be a great place for a 2-year-old. Thankfully, the parks have been pretty much open lately.
Yes.
And I know there are handfuls of various groups of parents that I'll keep an eye out and try to send your way in case you're looking to find some more moms with similar kids of similar ages. Because I know, in those early years, it's sometimes hard to find those play groups. But, we're doing all we can. Anything that you'd like to share just about yourself? I know you said you're a business owner, but this always runs by in time, and here we are with our last minute. So anything else you'd like to share? Yeah, appreciate it.
Let's see. Well, I'll take a second and be selfish and plug my business. I started a business in Taos about a year ago. It's called Ristra Studio, and I do local graphic design and photography for businesses and brands that are made in Taos and made in New Mexico. And it's been awesome to work with the local community and build up brands. People that have products here and make products here, and artisans here are so talented. So it's been really awesome to help them bring their vision to life.
Awesome. Well, thanks. And again, welcome, and we'll stay in touch. And I hope that through our collaborative outreach, we can only make Taos a place that's easier and more supportive of parents, regardless of what it is they're looking for. So thanks again so much for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, Miles, I appreciate it. And thanks for taking the time.
Just before we head out, if you are a parent or take care of children in our community and would like to be interviewed, please reach out, pasotaos@gmail.com. Thank you.
Paso a Paso Podcast.